Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Big Thunder Mountain is one of my favorite rides at Magic Kingdom. I live here in Orlando, and I love to go to Magic Kingdom and Disney World and ride Big Thunder Mountain. I love riding with my kids. So when they finally made a board game based on Big Thunder Mountain, I was in. As soon as I saw it released at Barnes & Noble's, I put my order in and had it shipped directly to the house, and we got it to the table that night, and we played it over and over and over again. This is one my kids are asking for over and over again, and they're having a blast playing it. It has enough randomness in it that the kids and the parents are kind of even Steven on this one, but not too much randomness where you feel like you don't have any control. Now, it's not really based off of the ride. It's based on the theme of the ride. So when you ride the Big Thunder Mountain, if you haven't ridden it before, it's got like a little bit of a wilderness that you're going through, etc. And it's like you're in the world of the ride more than you're like a person riding the ride at Disney World. You are not. So this one, you're kind of going around the board and collecting ore and gold in order to go back to town and sell it. Now, the good decision in this game is you can get points by selling it, or you can get town tokens, which can be utilized for points. But it's kind of a risk. You might get an extra point than what it's worth, or maybe something less. But the real trick is the upgrades. And the upgrades are going to help you get more stuff as the game progresses and help you score more points quicker. Because it really is a race to 20 points. Now, just because you get to 20 points doesn't mean you win. It just triggers the end, and everybody gets one extra turn. And then you have the secret from the town share cards that will be scored. It's the only end of game scoring is that little bit of pressure you have there. But if you're the first one that gets there, you have your choice of 3 different town shares, which will hopefully be worth more randomly. But you're going to get to choose between those 3 random cards, which is nice. This is a really, really fun game. The components for a $30 mass market game, boy, this game looks great. The rules are really easy. The icons, as soon as they're not very difficult. It's only 5 or 6. As soon as you get them down, you are off to the races. I have to admit, we have had a blast with this game. This is probably my favorite Funko Disney game that's been released yet. I really, really like this one. Yes, I like the ride, but I like this game also, and my kids are asking for it over and over again. That's a really good sign. Now, this is a family weight game. I put it strictly in, not kids, not adults, but strictly into family, and you're going to have a blast going through the wilderness, the wildest ride in the wilderness, as they say. So what you need to do is go down to your local store, purchase Big Thunder Mountain, and get on this ride and have a great time with your family, because this one has blown us away. It's got decisions, it's got some randomness. The marbles going down is really cool. You got the trains at the bottom, you got the train cars coming through, collecting the gold stuff, and you're panning for it. What a fun game. Lots of options, and I like seeing my kids kind of like, when you get your hand, because you can use your whole hand, you're kind of like, okay, how do I puzzle this? What is the best way for me to get here and then do this? And if I do that, I can move here and do that. And I love watching them puzzle and using logic to get that out. Excellent game. Check this one out. One of my favorite family games that have ever been released. Definite keeper for us. Here's Disney's Big Thunder Railroad, the wildest game in the wilderness. My copy did come with a 50th Walt Disney World sticker on it, which is pretty nice. Here's the rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. You're going to get a little, this is thin, you're going to get these little player mats in each of the colors. There's no red, which is my color. There's a gray, and you can see it's just a place to hold things. You're going to get some nice tile. These are pretty thick with a little upgrade and powers you can get. Every player is going to get a set of starter cards and a player aid. This is really what you want to see. This is the wagon that would hold the marbles for you. And you have a train, which will be your scoring piece. Those will come in each of the colors. You're going to get a deck of cards. One deck is going to be your main deck, which will have supplies, etc. in it. You can see it has the different icons that you will have throughout the game. And these are like upgrade, almost like deck building you can add in. Then you have the Fate deck, which has really nice artwork on it. These will just be random events that can happen throughout the game. Then your town shares, which are worth either 1, 2, or 3 points as you're going through. Now, this is really what you want to see. This is the mountain. This is the Big Thunder Mountain. This will be the track that's around it. Let's get this out. You're going to have a bunch of these marbles. In this case is one that I have. I get these at the dollar store. But you can put your marbles in here, and they will all kind of sit in there. Now, what you're going to have is your mountain piece. That will go right here. And then you'll have a little thing here so you can't exactly see what's coming out. This feels a lot like the Fireball Island thing. It's a cheap plastic, but it works fairly well for what it is. Then you have your little wagons that will be set up moving around the board. The components are fine. I think they're really, really good. This is a $30 mass market game. I think they blew it out of the water here very, very well. Here is the rule book. You're going to have a little bit of an introduction on the front of it. There's going to be a few setups. So I was kind of laughing at it. There's a mine setup. Then you have the player setup, all with pictures and examples that are going through it. Then you have the general setup. So there's like 3 setup pages, this darn thing. And then you're going to see the objective and what you will do on an actual turn. It's everything you need to know right there. And then you're going to get down to the card actions and what the icons are going to do. It breaks it down, which is super duper helpful. You can see there's plenty of pictures, there's examples, there's the notes. Everything you'd want in a rule book is here. Go over the town actions, go over the upgrades. Everything is the same. The end of the game and how to score it. And it'll be a little bit of a fact over here that will clarify a few things. And then blank page. I would have liked an overview on this page. But everybody does get a player aid, which will have an overview. So this is all you really need. Excellent job with the rule book. It was very easy to reference the icons as I was going through. Good job. So to set the game is very easy. You're going to put all the marbles in there except for one of the reds. You'll place your wagons back here on the player order. You'll have your 3 supply cards that they're shuffling and have that set up. You'll have each of your upgrades over here in their stacks. You will shuffle up the fate cards. You will shuffle up the town squares. You'll take one of these. So if you're playing a 4-player game, number of players -1, which will be set over here for end of game. And then your scoring markers will be right here. Then you are going to take your starting cards that you're going to have. You're going to shuffle these up. And you're going to draw 4 as your starting hand. And this will be your hand limit throughout the game, unless you get an upgrade that will break the rules. On your turn, the first thing you're going to do is take the marble machine here, and you're going to move 3 marbles down. This is going to happen on every single player's turn, as you're going to take 3 marbles out. Wherever they land is where they land. Now, if you get a red one that will come out, you'll put it right back in here, after taking the fate card and do whatever it says. All players draw 1 card from their deck. Most of these will be negatives. You can see, remove all other marbles from the mine shaft with the fate marble, then run 3 extra marbles. So these will do different things. Only if the red card, you will take care of the card and then put the red one back in there. As the game progresses, you'll see the marbles are seeding the board. On your turn then, you can play as many of these cards as you want from your hand. Anything you don't want to play, you can either, let's say I play all 3 of these, I can keep this for the next turn or discard it and I'll draw back up to 4. These icons are going to do different things. So anything with a wagon on it is simply going to move your wagon. And the number of spaces is signified by these coal markers that are right here. So this one would allow me to move 1 space. When I'm at that space, I can utilize both icons in any order that I want to. This will allow me to take a water off, put it back in here, but it will also give me 1 free town token. So I have this town token, and I can put it on my over here. Now, the most town tokens I can have is 5, so keep that in mind as you're collecting these. Then when I've used this, I put it in my discard pile. The train icon is very easy. It allows me to upgrade to buy one of these. And by buying it, I just take any of the 3 I want, put them on top of my discard pile, and then a new card will come out. Once again, it allows me to move, so I can move an additional space. The next card I want to play has a movement of 1 and it has a pan on it. What's going to let me do is move 1. Now, if I have this icon, if there is water in my location, which there is, I can take either an ore or a good and just throw it right in my wagon. And then this would go in my discard pile. That card will be in contrast to this icon. This icon only allows me to take the gold or the ore out of the place if there is no water. There is water in this location, so I wouldn't be able to take any of it from there. Now, let's pretend that I was here, and I was going to play this card. I could simply take that gold and put it in here because there's no water. So that's going to be the main difference between these 2 cards. One will allow me to take items with water. The other one is without water. Now, this one also gave me an option here, as you can see, or discard to move. So I could have done this option at the top, or simply just discarded this to move 1 space. Some of the action cards you have will just have extra movement on it. In this case, I can move 2. When I return to town, which is where I am at now, I can then trade these in. Now, I'm going to add a brown just to signify how these different works. So basically, the gold is worth 2, and the browns, which is raw materials, is only worth 1. So if I was to cash these in, I would get 2, 4, 5. Each one I could cash in for 2 points. So let's say I just wanted to cash that gold in. I could simply take 2 points. But let's say the other ones I want to cash in, this 2, I could take an additional 2 points, or I could take 2 of these town tokens and add it to the one I already got for disposing of water. And the last one is worth 1. I could simply take 1 point if I wanted to, or I could take an additional town token. Let me just say I'm going to go ahead and take that point, and I put that back in there. Then I can do is I can buy an upgrade. I could buy one of these upgrade tokens. They all have different prices. This one is 3. This one costs 2. And there's a couple of them that will cost 4. And I simply give up my town tokens in order to pay for it. So if I wanted to buy the one that was worth 3, I give up my 3 town tokens, and I could simply purchase this upgrade. It would go on my card. The maximum I can have is 3. But it would give me an ongoing power. This one says raw and gold counts equal. So remember how the ore is only worth 1 and gold is worth 2? If I have this upgrade, they're both worth 2. This one allows me to use those 2 icons I showed you interchangeably. So it no longer matters whether there's water there or not. This one right here allows me to have 5 cards in my hand instead of 4. It's very handy earlier in the game. And this one with the train on it, when I bought those cards, if you remember, I had to go to my discard pile. With this upgrade, they go directly into my hand. I like this one quite a bit. When you have this one, remember when I told you that I bailed water out of here with that icon? I got 1 town token. This one allows me to get 2 town tokens for that privilege. And then the last one's the big claim. Pick and pan at nearby shafts. Well, what does that mean? That means if I'm here, I could always go where I'm at, or I could go at the 2 adjacent locations. So it gives me more of a stretch here. If maybe I don't have the movement to go where I need to go, I can pull from the adjacent locations. Remember, maximum you can have is 3 of those, and once you get a 4th one, you have to discard 1 of those. The other option I have is I could buy these town shares. Each town share, you just buy the top one. It costs 2 town tokens, but they could potentially be worth 1, 2, or 3 victory points. It's just something else that you can do. As the game progresses, your score marker will go up. As soon as somebody clears 20 or lands on 20, then everybody else will get 1 turn, and you'll divvy up your scores. For the privilege of being the first person done, you will get to look at all 3, or as many towns as there are, pick the one that you want, preferably the one worth the most points, put it face down in front of you, and then the other 2 are optional for other people if they happen to cross that mark. Then, at the end of the game, you will add, because these are hidden scoring, add at the end of the game however many points you have, and that will be your final score. And that's an overview of how to play Big Thunder Mountain. Who should play this game? Fans of Disney, fans of Big Thunder Mountain, fans of family weight games. This is a really fun, good game. I don't care if this wasn't made by Funko. I don't care if this didn't have Disney on it. I don't care if this doesn't have Big Thunder Mountain on it. This is a fun family game, and one I can definitely recommend to you. Now, family games need a little bit of randomness, they need a little bit of luck in them, because I can beat my kids in most logically. I can beat them in most games. I'm older, I have more experience, things click quicker for me. I can usually beat them. That little bit of randomness, and my kids are actually, both my kids beat me on our first play, because they were able to puzzle this together, and they had a blast doing so. I love this game. I can't scream it from the mountaintops enough. This is one you need to play and check out. Disney's Big Thunder Mountain, one of my favorite family games of the year, one of my favorite family games ever. Check this one out. Don't sleep on it. May not like some of the games in the series, so don't sleep on this one. This is one to check out. Excellent. Keeper for us.